helping the family and the patient with bereavement. So what is this illness? I love what the authors said here. They said, this is a relentless attack on your identity. This isn't an attack on a heart muscle or on your pancreas like diabetes or on your kidneys. This is an attack on your identity. And it never gives up. It just chips away at you. So because it's like that, quite often the spouse, the caregiver, the family, they experience numerous, I just thought this was beautiful, small deaths. The first time the patient is lost in a familiar place, the first time they don't recognize who you are, your one and only son. It's just, grieving is sort of built into this disease. So, bullet 3, there's an awful lot of grief that goes on before actual death. And I can't tell you how often I hear family members say, Dr. Weiss, I feel terrible because I didn't cry at the funeral. And generally my response is, you probably shed most of your tears long before that. Don't feel terrible about it. I know you miss your mama. So, conflict about advance directives, we alluded to this earlier. Did we do the right thing? Hindsight is 20/20. In hindsight, we shouldn't have put that feeding tube in. I can see now that prolonged his life of more misery. So help families early and so what does that? There are bereavement groups. I think the dementia support groups, this is part and parcel from the first visit to the last. This is a terminal illness. And then, of course, last but not least, after the suffering patient goes on to the next life, be vigilant for complicated grief in the survivors. And we mentioned some of the signs and symptoms of complicated grief, anger, guilt. I don't mean a little bit of anger. I don't mean a little bit of guilt. I mean persistent, accelerating, rising, self-destructive behavior. Talk about, not wanting to be here, punishment, non-function. Be vigilant.